I'm thrilled to announce tonight that Senator Chuck Grassley has my complete and total endorsement for re-election. Chuck.
David Perdue, an America First conservative outsider, is the only candidate for governor endorsed by President Donald Trump.
David Perdue is an outstanding man. He's tough, he's smart, he has my complete and total endorsement. Hello, I'm President Donald Trump. And when it comes to Georgia's 10th congressional district, I have only one choice, and the man's name is Vernon Jones, a very special person. He has my complete and total endorsement. Vernon will not let you down. Complete and total endorsement.
There are those complete and total endorsements handed out like candy by Donald Trump to a few certain people, only after they've earned it, by the way. Because GOP sources, they point out that there's a bit of a game show-esque type of experience when it comes to getting Donald Trump's endorsement. The complete and total endorsement from Donald Trump. A lot of times people who are looking to do this have to jump through hoops like showing loyalty, talking about making sure that the election was stolen. They have to impress Trump in one-on-one meetings, but that's after they've gone through several of his, I guess, aides, pre-interviews. It's a bit of a process. Let's jump right into this because there's a lot of details here that I think are fascinating. So again, like I said, it's a game show-esque thing. It's almost like The Apprentice, I think. I never watched it. But for candidates without elite connections, such as a Trump aide or a powerful GOP donor, they must undergo a series of challenges to secure a prized audience with the former president. That's what sources told insiders. So in order to impress Trump, candidates must first get a panel of close aides to the former president, get past them through certain interviews. So a GOP source told Insider the group includes Trump's eldest son, Don Jr., his former deputy chief of staff, Dan Scavino, Susan Wiles, a longtime Republican operative in Florida who masterminded Trump victories in 2016 and 20. I guess just the state of Florida. The group interviews candidates and rates them based on their broad loyalty to Trump's Make America Great Again agenda. Also, again, one source said that two issues rank above all others when it comes to impressing them: hardline opposition to immigration and support for election integrity. A euphemism for Trump's so-called big lie about the 2020 election being stolen from him by with mass voter fraud. Also, two sources said that some candidates wind up with a physical scorecard. They got scorecards with their rating and suitability, which is handed to Trump to further whittle down his options. So there's a couple of key hurdles here that you have to make sure that you get by. And again, there's the pre-interviews, there's his aides, there's his former people, and there's scorecards right now. It continues on. The key hurdle is impressing Trump himself, who likes to interview candidates personally, often at the Mar-a-Lago resort, where he's made his home after leaving the White House. A key question for the former president, one source said, is not just whether the candidate will win, but whether they would be loyal and support Trump in a possible 24 campaign, which I still don't think is gonna happen. For some candidates, there's another route. Instead of charting the maze through Trump's aides to reach Trump, a candidate can send out an emphatic public message in support of Trump's election fraud conspiracy theories. One source nicknamed this the bat signal for the former Trump and his advisors. And the thing is, you can see some truth in this, Waz, because I've seen this. Whenever randomly some Republican who we haven't heard from a while or is now for re-election comes out and starts talking about the election being stolen, or then goes on a news show and someone asks him, so can you unequivocally say that Joe Biden won this election? And they go, well, I can say that I can call him the president, but there are questions. Every time those things happen, they're trying, as we know, they're trying to stay within the good graces of Donald Trump. And what I didn't know was they were maybe hunting for an endorsement.
Yeah, this tracks with everything we've ever known about Donald Trump, about how petty he is, about how he loves for people to feed his ego and to say wonderful things about him, that he would have them do, a sort of round table where he asks them questions like, do you think my hair pieces fly? And is my daughter hot? Where he asks them very weird questions in order for them to retain his support. I'm not surprised. And more importantly, I think all it shows me is that Donald Trump understands his own power and influence within the party, amongst the base, that he could have these serious, ostensibly serious politicians line up to grovel and kiss his butt. The fact that he knows that he can do this, and that people will do anything They'll jump over any hoops to secure his love and public support. Doesn't surprise me at all.
I'm amazed that it's this, that obviously this came this late, that people are now finding out these different things he's been doing. Because again, he enjoyed his time as a host of a TV show where people are groveling to him and asking for his endorsement in a way. But now he gets to do it in real life, and it's really gonna happen this way. Now, by the way, does it translate over into positivity? Because there's been talk about whether or not Donald Trump is beginning to lose his grip on the Republican Party. So as far as fundraising, how have people that have been endorsed by Trump turned out? Let's see. As Josh Krasner notes for the National Journal, not a single Trump-backed federal candidate raised $1 million in the last 3 months of the year. Many raised abysmally pitiful totals. John Gibbs, who's Trump's pick for the Michigan's 3rd congressional district, he raised only $51,000. Trump's favorite in the Alabama Senate primary, Representative Mo Brooks, raised only $386,000. Both of his major competitors topped $1 million. Even Harriet Hagman, Trump's favorite to take out Liz Cheney out in Wyoming, she brought in only $443,000. Now those do sound like bigger numbers as far as the hundreds of thousands go. The 51,000 does look a little anemic, but when others are getting millions of dollars worth, that's always the gauge when it comes to what political folks think. Oh my God, are you doing well? How much money have you raised? It's always the thing. Now, lastly, what about winning? That's the bottom line. You got to get in office so you can continue to carry out Trump's policies. So here we go. Recent poll data shows that Republican voters are increasingly moving away from blind personal devotion to the former president. The NBC News poll has for years tracked whether Republicans are more supporters of Trump or the party. So in October of 20, that measure favored Trump by a 54-38 margin. Wow, 54-38. Good job. Their most recent January poll showed the numbers were reversed, with Republican voters saying that they backed the party more than Trump. Now it's 56-36, almost completely flipped it. And lastly, there was a recent poll by Atlanta Journal-Constitution that found that less than half of Republicans say that a Trump endorsement would make them somewhat likelier to vote for that candidate. Only 11% said that his endorsement would make them much more likely to back that person. I've always said this, and I think not pushback, but I've gotten some folks that buy into it. That are like, well, Jayar, you're just one of these random rare people. Because I honestly don't keep track of who's endorsed who. I don't care who's endorsed someone else. It's based off of what I've seen that candidate do and say, and what I would expect them to do if I believe what they're talking about. If I had no interest or no support for a particular candidate, and then some random person, not random, but if some person that's the head of the party says, hey, vote for that guy, I'm gonna ask, well, why? Not just, okay. And maybe that's what Republican voters are beginning to catch up with. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is he's no longer a shiny new toy, right? He started his campaign for president 7 years ago. It was basically 2015, I believe, his campaign when he went down the escalator at the Trump and declared that he was running for president. So it's been 7 years. It's not like back in the days when people legitimately felt like he was this fresh thing, this new movement, where if you be like, look, if somebody's associated with this new thing, this movement, I'm gonna support them and wanna be a part of it. Like Trump no longer feels like a movement towards anything. He's just an entity unto himself. And he's just like a person that people root for whatever those individuals' reasons may be. But I will say this, this is not what Trump is doing to these candidates is not weird for politics. This is what they do. You hear about some of the dinners or whatever that Barry was going to on the north side of Chicago to court certain type of donors, right? That Barack Obama had to go through. You got to say the right things, but their vetting is a little bit more sophisticated than Donald Trump's, but it's not totally dissimilar, right? Like you got to say the right things. They got to believe that you can actually win, et cetera, et cetera. And he went through this with all kinds of people, Wall Street donors, all kinds of people. Trump's is just a little bit more crude. He's just like, say great things about me in public and I will endorse you. That's it.
Back up my lies and you're in. That's all, that's the only qualification left. Back up my lies, say nice things about me, and then you're in. Well, after you impress my friends and my family.